Hello, Jay Kalinski, broker-owner of RE/MAX of Boulder. Welcome to our podcast. Today I am joined by DB Wilson, the managing broker of RE/MAX of Boulder, and also our resident stats guru. So, DB, today we're going to talk about Boulder County attached and single-family statistics. This is going to be January through August, so tell us, let's start on the single families.
Okay.
What can you tell us?
More of the same. What we've been talking about all year. We look at what we call the 10 vital statistics, which include the total number of actives, the median sales price, the average sales price to list price, meaning what somebody could expect that property to sell for based on the list price, days on market, the total number of sales for the year, the number of expireds, in other words, properties that are coming on the market that never find a buyer.
Right.
The months of inventory, the percentage of the properties that are on the market that are under contract, and then where we are with the interest rates.
Great.
So when we look at the single family, we are still at an all-time low for inventory. 851 properties in all of Boulder County, 45% of which are under contract.
Wow.
So it's still very much a seller's market, and the sales price to list price is 96.6%, so very close to asking price as well. The median price is now a little under $537,500. That is about 14.5% higher than a year ago at this time. Average sales price is $656,000, a little over $656,000, and that's also about a 14% appreciation. So very strong market.
Absolutely.
I think further evidence of that is the months of inventory. We always think of a stable market as being between 5 and 7 months of inventory. Currently there's 3.1 months of inventory.
Okay, so still a strong seller's market.
Very much so. Couple that with the interest rates where they are, a little under 3.5%. That's a full half point below where we were a year ago. What I would say though is that it is a great time for a buyer to maybe come back into the market or to start looking, because historically there are fewer sales this time of year, there are fewer buyers out competing with you, and we actually have about the same amount of inventory as we had in March when there was a ton of buyers in the market. So your selection's a little bit better, and it's a great time to buy, like I said, with those interest rates.
So why do you think there are fewer buyers this time of year?
What we see historically, again, is that in the first half of the year, there's more buyers that come into the market. Families are thinking that they want to get moved and settled during the summer months, that kind of thing. And it just seems that traditionally more people are in the marketplace in the spring and early summer. But again, the selection right now is where we were in about March. So.
Wow. So it sounds like you'd be having the same inventory but less competition this time of year.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
And I don't want to look too far ahead in the future, but I would imagine you don't see home prices dropping significantly into next year.
I do not. I think, again, historically, we've always kind of leveled off on the appreciation in the last half of the year. I don't see us dropping at all. There's still really good demand, and as you can see, we have increased a little over 14% in the last year.
Yeah, that sounds really solid. Well, let's talk about the attached dwellings. Those are the condos and townhomes. Exactly.
We continue to be at historic lows. We have slightly more listings than we did a year ago at this time, all of 208, 61% of which are under contract.
Ooh.
Again, this is all of Boulder County. The median price we're at about $347,000 now, which is a whopping 29%
Wow.
above where we were a year ago. We really have kind of lost the lower end of the market.
Sure.
And as far as average is up about 19%, and that's now about 391,000. Again, showing the strength of the market are a couple of things. 61% are under contract. Sales price to list price is 102%. So sellers are getting more than asking price. And the months of inventory is just 2 months of inventory at this point.
Wow, so that's even less than the single family side.
It is. Now, what is interesting is that year-to-date, we're about 17% fewer sales than we were a year ago. And this is solely due to the fact that we've had such low inventory. We started the year with 65 properties on the market, of which about 60% were under contract. So there was just really nothing to select from. And now at 208 properties, though low, at least you've got a little more selection. And again, there's not quite as many buyers out there.
Okay.
The other thing that's kind of interesting is that in the first 8 months, only 6 properties did not sell. There were 6 expired listings. And
wow.
Yeah.
In all of Boulder County.
In all of Boulder County. And that's an unbelievable number, just how low that is. But anyway, I would say again that if you've got any interest in acquiring a property, that it's now a great time to start looking and kind of get familiar with what else out there, and you're going to have less competition.
Well, that sounds good, especially with rates. You know, everybody's been projecting they're going to be going up for years, and they've been hanging out, hovering pretty low. Do you see them coming up in the next year?
Well, the Fed is talking about a rate hike here in September, actually, which could have some effect. I don't think we're going to see dramatically higher interest rates, but these are unheard of. I mean, really. During my 40 years of real estate, the average is about 7.5% interest rate. So at 3.5%, less than half of that average, kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah, I mean, this is a kind of a once-in-a-generation opportunity. I remember my dad telling me stories about having condos at 18%.
Right.
So that would be like putting a condo on a not very good credit card. So yeah, it definitely sounds like this is a great time. Any other advice for home buyers looking out there?
No, I don't think so. If you're thinking about it, though, it's a great time to get going. It really is.
Well, great. And what about for our sellers out there who've seen, you know, some pretty good appreciation over the last couple of years? Would this be an ideal time to sell, or what would you advise them to do?
I think it is an ideal time, and you can reflect back to that interest rate argument, that it's a great time for a buyer to be out, a great time for a buyer to be out looking, and those interest rates just can't stay that low forever.
Sure.
And that really does help the power of a buyer and the affordability of a buyer. So yeah, I definitely would encourage a seller, if they're thinking about it, it's a great time to sell.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been very informative, and I hope it's been informative for you also. DB, thanks so much for coming.
Thank you, Jay.
All right, this is Jay Kalinski signing off.